No problem. We'll find out against the struggling squad in Vancouver as we get you set for the Oilers and Canucks right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well out there. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Live on location, Boston Pizza, 170th Street. Lots of nasties already here. They were here before I got here. I got here just after 6, and they were ready to rock. Let's take a look at and see who's already here. We got Marge and Calvin, Big Uke, Rob from the Grove, Corey B. We got Grumpy Cat. We got Sarah. We got VR Montenegro. We got Quentin. We got Fergie's Prosta. We got Damien, who's first time coming out to one of our events. And then we got Cal in the park. And then Tony and Curtis and the crew are here, and they're ready to rock. Oh, Nolan from St. Albert is also here. And we've got Courtney and Sarah from the staff and Cindy. It's going to be a great time. Belsey ready to rock for tonight. Benny Thomson back at EST Global HQ. Belsey, how we doing?
Oh, buddy, I couldn't be happier.
Why? Tell me.
The Bills lost.
Wow. Did they ever?
Wow.
In dramatic fashion.
And then I just went through Twitter and I saw Josh Allen basically crying. I let down the boys. Yeah, you did. Hang on to the football, big boy.
Yeah.
But every playoffs, you do it.
Yeah, I thought they were going to win.
Go back to your roots. Let that football go. And let that dub go.
Well, that didn't happen. So the Bills are eliminated. Hot start for the Seahawks. Football will be on
Bills.
here at BP 170th, as well, of course, as the Oilers and the Canucks. Edmonton. One game on the road, then back home tomorrow night against the St. Louis Blues. And Benny, your performances on blind rankings on Hello Hockey has gotten you a present from Corey B. It is waiting for you when you arrive here at BP 170th.
Is it like a toy rat or something?
Take a look at that,
so.
White hat right there. Don't show anybody.
Yeah.
But it is.
It's a rat hat or something.
It's appropriate. It's definitely appropriate,
yeah.
And we hope to see you wear it when you are on the air. Of course, you can join the conversation, whether you're listening or you're watching. Text us 780-218-9999. If you're watching over on YouTube, you can hop into the nasty chat. And, of course, we want to remind you that GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel electric components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Great to have them on board as our presenting sponsor here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre- and post-game show for a second consecutive year. We're also going to have Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. It's his birthday.
Oh, yeah.
He's coming here to celebrate, watch the game with everyone, and he'll give us the scoop as the NHL.com Western Canadian correspondent. He'll give us the scoop on a Canucks team that is winless in 9, losers of 6 in a row, have not won since December the 30th. Ouchies. Knock on wood,
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Who wants to start? What's the vibe going into this game? Benny, you want to throw out the question of the night? You want to go with the vibe first, then question of the night? It's up to you guys.
Well, I think the vibe is going to be it's interesting, actually, because you lose Draisaitl, which is a massive hole in your lineup. It'll be one of my points in game changers. But yeah, it's a completely different.
Look at that!
Completely different vibe.
Turning Point Terra is back.
Oh, here we go!
Oh,
yeah! I'm so excited for this day.
Oh my
it's
God.
Picking up. Business is now picking up.
Guess where she's probably going to sit for post
right next to you,
right here.
Yeah. Great stuff.
Oh, this is already a vibe, as they say.
Buddy, you couldn't have made my day better, but now it just turned.
She got a massive
Why are you red already?
Me?
You got a little red in you. Yeah, a little red.
Why would I be
You
red?
got a little blushing?
I'm not.
Are you
Absolutely
sure?
not. No,
I'm a queasy.
No, I'm a professional. I'm here to work. And if I'm being accosted by a listener, then I know how to handle it.
I am a professional, he throws out there.
Yeah, that's right.
You are a professional, Tommy. I agree with that.
Yeah, okay. Well, I forgot what we were even talking about.
We were talking about the vibe.
The vibe,
The
yeah.
vibe.
Well, it just kicked up a notch or two.
The vibe just kicked up a whole nother level.
Uh-oh.
But
somebody get that girl a drink.
One of my points is going to be a talking point about Draisaitl and life without him.
Of course.
So, yeah, what's it going to be like? Are guys going to be able to step up? Because when you lose a massive piece of your team and a guy that is one of the main people that produces offense, well, you've got a lot of question marks all of a sudden. So the vibe for me has completely changed in the sense of I really want to see what Oiler is going to step up, not named Connor McDavid.
Well, there's certainly a great opportunity. A lot of ice time going to be made available, about 20 to 25 minutes a night while Draisaitl is gone. If you didn't catch it earlier in the day, the Oilers put out a statement on Leon Draisaitl. They said the Edmonton Oilers forward Leon Draisaitl will be taking a brief leave of absence to attend to a family illness in Germany. He is expected to return to the team later next week. On behalf of Leon, the club asks for privacy at this time. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to pry. I don't need to do that. Just out of respect for Draisaitl and his family and the situation that they're dealing with right now. So no Draisaitl for the next little while, and we'll get to that a little bit more on Game Changers, and then maybe it has to do with the question of the night. I don't know. Benny Thompson, what do you got?
It does. Question of the night tonight. With Draisaitl's absence, they have had to change the lines a little bit. Nuge is now slotting down to that second line.
Yep.
Trent Frederick gets bumped up to the top 6. Was that the correct guy? Yes or no? And if it wasn't, who was the guy you were putting in the top 6? Let us know.
Show your work, as they say. 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. Bellsy, I'll let you take the first crack at the question of the night.
I don't know if I would have put Frederick in the top 6. I know his game has improved slightly. And he's playing better, but I still don't think it's at a point where it warrants the move to the top 6. In my opinion, I think I would have moved Howard or a Savoy, even a Roslovic to that first or second line. Mm-hmm. In a perfect world, if you move up Howard to the first line to play with McDavid and Hyman, you're going to give a young skill guy an opportunity to see what he can do. Yeah. You have Podkolzin stay in his regular spot, and then I guess the change would be Nugent Hopkins at center as opposed to Draisaitl, but you already know that Podkolzin and Kapanen work well together, right? Because that is part of the line. So you stick Nugent Hopkins in between those two guys, and you kind of sort it out from there. But to me, Frederick moving up to that second line, well, let's see if he can do it.
Great opportunity for him. Here are your lineups. I'll throw this out there and then throw out my answer as well. And we do want to hear from you in regard to the question of the night. Is Trent Frederick the right guy to move up to the top 6? It's going to be McDavid between Podkolzin and Hyman, we're anticipating. Nugent Hopkins with Frederick and Kapanen. Roslovic between Howard and Savoy. Lazar with Mangiapane and Janmark on defense. Ekholm with Bouchard. Nurse with Emerson. Wallman with Stasny. No Alec Regula and no Leon Draisaitl. Personal matter. Family illness that he's taking a brief leave of absence for. I don't think Frederick is the ideal guy for the top 6. I think Howard would have been great. And then you could have maybe bumped Frederick up to the third line, something like that. Just given the way things have gone for Trent Frederick, his offensive game is essentially nothing. His impact on games has been generally minimal. If he's sparked by this, great. Do I like the chances of that happening? Guys, not really. So that's just my take on that one.
I mean, personally, I hope he goes out and he kills it. That's personally what I hope for.
That'd be great.
Just based off of recency, that's not where his game is at right now. And, for me, I go back to what I originally said is who's going to step up in Draisaitl's absence. And I did see it in the nasty chat, and I think it was Shaggy in St. Albert, where it's like, this game will be on the McDavid's back to win the game. Well, I hope not, because somebody else needs to start to step up. And it's, hey, Hyman's been good. Nugent Hopkins has been good. But somebody else outside of, let's say, those guys has to step up to give them valuable minutes, because if any point a guy goes down, hey, Draisaitl's out of your lineup, you can't have a major dip. There's going to be a dip, because when you lose one of the top players in the world, there always will be a little bit of a dip. But it can't go from being a major one. It's got to be a smaller one, if that makes sense.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean indeed, but
there's always going to be a dip when you lose a top 5.
Of course. Would this not be against a very, very, I don't know weak's not the proper term, vulnerable Vancouver Canucks team right now. Winless in 9.
You back an animal into a corner, what happens?
But listen, they have. I'm going to go through the injuries right away. I'm going to go through the Canucks roster right away. And I think a lot of people are going to be like, geez, that is indicative of why they've dropped their last 9 games.
Yep.
And I look at it this way from an Oilers point of view. Could this be an opportunity for a Savoy or a Howard to hit their stride a little bit? I'm thinking multi-point game. I'm thinking playing with the puck, a lot of confidence, great touches. And then that kind of ramps them off into playing well for a stretch. To me, this seems like a great opportunity for something like that to happen.
I would agree with you. It is a great opportunity, but the worst thing that could possibly happen is the Oilers go into that locker room. They look through the pregame press clips or whatever they have.
What would they give you pregame?
They basically have it's a package, and it's got every single stat of what's going on, who's hurt, all that. So the last thing they can do is go look at that while they're going number 2 and go, oh, look how many guys are out of the lineup. This might be an easy night.
Why are they doing it while they go number 2?
Well, it's easy. It's reading material.
Okay.
So
just wondering.
The easiest thing to do if you're the Oilers is to now walk out and go, this is a lesser team that we've been used to playing. This is a lesser team that, we don't need to respect, because that's usually when things go wrong. And you will have a team in Vancouver that's going to come out and they're going to play hard. Why? Because this is a big rivalry game for them. This is a rivalry. So you got a game that they want to beat you. Guys are out there to prove that they belong in the NHL as well. And if they're an AHL guy, they want to be in the NHL. So they're going to come out hard and they're going to give you everything they have. As Oilers, you can't go into the game saying, we'll be fine. They're not as good as they used to be, because that's when things happen, which will be one of my points again in game change.
Yeah, that's coming up right away here. Let's get to the Canucks lineup. There's going to be a lot of those guys who are hungry to stay in the NHL when I read this out. Elias Pettersson between Liam Ogren and Brock Besser. David Kampf with Evander Kane and Jake DeBrusk on his flanks. Atu Ratu with Drew O'Connor and Connor Garland. Max Sasson with Arshdeep Baines and Linus Karlsson. On defense, Marcus Pettersson with Philip Hronik. Steve Byam with Tyler Myers. Tom Willander with Victor Mancini. No Nils Höglander. No Pierre-Olivier Joseph. Your starting goalies for tonight. 30-year-old Tristan Jarry getting the nod for the Oil. 12-3-2 with a 273 GAA. 906 save percentage. 1 shutout in 18 games this season. He is 5-1-1 with a 265 goals against average and 911 save percentage in 7 games against the Canucks over the course of his career. And then at the other end of the rink, we're going to see 25-year-old Nikita Tolopilo. He's 2-2-0 with a 3.50 goals against average, 894 save percentage in 5 games this season. He will face Edmonton for the first time in his career. The Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy Injury Report is next. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You've got a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today, www.advantagesportmed.ca, or call 780-460-9977. So we're going to throw Draisaitl in here, personal, family illness. We're going to go with the statement from the Oilers that they put out earlier today. And then Adam Henrique, LTIR, undisclosed. For the Canucks, Philip Hedl, IR, upper body. Teddy Bluger, IR, lower body. Kiefer Sherwood, day-to-day, undisclosed. Marco Rossi, IR, lower body. Thatcher Demko, IR, lower body. Derek Forbert, IR, undisclosed. Guillaume Brisebois, IR, lower body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Essentially regulars out of the lineup due to injury for the Canucks. So that is your Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy Injury Report. Book your assessment today, www.advantagesportmed.ca, or call 780-460-9977. Let's get to a couple of texts really quickly before we dive into Game Changers with Bellsy Poop Stains. Hello, Poop Stains. Says, I don't see Benny on location. Is he old enough? Yes. He will be here as soon as we finish up the pregame show, and we need somebody to run things back at Global HQ, and that's why he is our producer extraordinaire. Tommy Rubella getting in on the action. Says, I wore my smoking his way to 1,000 NHL points shirt to the pregame and postgame show today, so my big prediction, obviously, Janmark hat trick. Well played, Tommy Rubella. Well played. I think Kelvin's also wearing that T-shirt. Looks like it's available to purchase, and I think there's some people that recreated it. Vincenzo is going back to earlier in the day on Benny's Blind Rankings, which has earned Benny a new present from Corey B.
Boy.
He says, Benny just outsmarted you guys. No, he didn't.
I did.
He took the cheap way out on Benny's Blind Rankings. That's twice in like the last
Vincenzo?
3 weeks. Vincenzo said that.
Listen, Vincenzo, I know who you are.
Uh-oh.
I know that you're one of Benny's boys. And I know that you're full of it. You know, I know, Tommy knows, Benny knows that was a gross way to win.
It was.
When you say
it's not a win.
Most likely to get traded,
It was a win.
and you throw out McKinnon?
Correct. He's the
Come
least
on.
likely guy to be traded, which means he
Oh,
should have
that
been
is
five.
such a...
The premise of the actual Benny's Blind Rankings was who is the most likely to get traded.
Correct.
And you had
who's
trade
most likely?
targets
McKinnon
until
is 5.
Oh, my God.
Always a chance he
But
could get traded.
You, Benny.
McKinnon will never get traded,
Exactly,
so he
which is
shouldn't
why
even
he
be
should be five.
remotely on the list.
Which is why he should be number 5.
That's like when we did Olympic snubs and he left Ryan Reeves as the last
that
one.
I have
Yeah, that
time
one's gross,
to
too.
understand where, that was cheap because Ryan Reeves
So
was
was
not a
McKinnon.
snub. He was not. The snub is meaning that he was close to making the team. Most likely to trade, that could literally be anyone. You can throw anyone under that category. Nathan McKinnon was thrown into this one. He's not likely to be traded. He isn't. That's why he should be 5.
Oh, get out of here. Nick in the North says, Benny drawing cheap heat like a jobber. Yeah, exactly.
That's what
Thank
he is.
you.
He's a jobber.
Yeah.
The reason
with
why
that performance, yeah.
The reason why I had
Don't
to do
validate
that,
yourself.
No, the reason why I had to do this with throwing Nathan McKinnon, because if I threw anyone that had a chance of being traded, you guys were going to try to justify that being a good list. I guarantee it. If I threw Adam Henrique in there, or if I threw, I don't know, some guy that's on a contender with a no move, but like could be traded theoretically, you guys be like, oh no, that makes sense, and then I had to fight you guys on it. I had to make sure that I got a guaranteed win. Nathan McKinnon got me a guaranteed win.
You know what? Unks aren't happy with you, and everything you just said was garbage.
Your own father laughed at you.
Yeah, your own dad.
He did.
Because Nate's a smart guy.
Played all
All
the
right,
games.
let's get to Game Changers with our very own Shawn Belle. Game Changers brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, consistent top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Bellsy, number 1, trap game?
Trap game? Well, we started talking about it earlier to Benny's question, and partly how this game's going to unfold. And you look at the injuries, you know that there was, I believe it was, 7 regulars out
For the Canucks, yeah.
for the Canucks. It's easy to now turn around if you're the Oilers and say, okay, this is a team that's at the bottom of the standings. They got 7 of their players out. We can maybe come into this game, maybe not going at even a B. I'm going to start with a B.
Okay.
Because I think if you're the Oilers and you're playing a B game, you probably beat the Vancouver Canucks. Just based on, standing, where they're at, just how they're playing.
Yeah.
But if you're the Oilers and you sit back and you say, okay, we might have an easy night because there's so many regulars out, it is going to be a trap game, and you're going to be the team that's going to break the streak.
There's people worried about that. I've seen it in the chat on YouTube.
I would be worried about it too, because there's lots of excuse opportunities. The excuse opportunities move into probably the second point but you have a big member of your team out of the lineup. You've got a depleted lineup from the Vancouver Canucks. It's easy to sit there and say, well, hey, this player's out of the lineup. We're missing a big piece of our offense. Okay, well, they're depleted. Well, we can take it a little bit easy. And that's usually when trap games happen, because you're not mentally engaged in that game. You're not emotionally engaged in that game. You know that the Canucks are going to be ready to go.
They have to be.
They have to be, because when you have a depleted lineup, you know that you're just going to get an honest, hard-working effort. At least you should.
Yeah. It's It's a Saturday late game, national broadcast on Hockey Night Canada. It is Hockey Day in Canada, and they've already been embarrassed enough over the course of the last 9 games. So I know Vancouver, like you said, will have their edge. At least they should, with whatever firepower they do have available to them, despite the injuries. I like the concept, if you're the Oilers, even though you're without Draisaitl, is going after them early and take away their will to win or to compete
that
early.
Team will quit on you
if you attack
them, and it's relentless pressure, and they feel that they can't get themselves back in the game. It will turn into an easy night.
Yeah.
But if you're not ready to go, well, it could be a long night with the team that shouldn't be in your particular league running amok, essentially. So it is a bit of a trap game because you got to make sure that you're playing at your strength so that you can take care of business.
You let them feel like they're in this one and that they have a chance. The longer that goes on, the more dangerous it gets from an Oilers point of view, in my opinion. Benny?
To that point, to me, the Vancouver Canucks, they get up for the Edmonton Oilers. They remember that playoff series. They remember how they lost. I understand a little bit. The team has changed, I guess, quite a bit. But there's still guys on that team that remember. With just this matchup, and like you guys were saying, the tee up of this is Hockey Night in Canada, all that stuff. They're going to be wanting to stick it to the Oilers, especially to get out of this losing streak they're on right now. And like you guys were saying, if the Oilers get on them early, it's the same. Oh, here we go. Here comes another loss again to add to the streak. It was the same thing against the Winnipeg Jets a couple weeks ago, where I was talking about you got to get on them early. Jets ended up actually kind of having got up early, but the Oilers come back. But to me, the start is important on this one. Get on them early. Have that self-doubt in your head if you're the Canucks, so the Oilers can get the win here.
Just a football note really quickly. Bo Nix is out for the season.
What?
It was just announced by Sean Payton. Busted bone in his ankle, suffered in overtime.
Oh, no.
Ouch.
That's a massive loss for the Broncos.
Yep.
Oof.
Wow. Yikes. All right, it is Game Changers, brought to you by David Buttig Real Estate. Point number 1, trap game? Could be. And then point number 2, you want to talk about missing a huge piece of your team. How about life without Dry for about a week or so?
You know, it's been, I can't remember the last time Draisaitl's been out of the lineup because he is a pretty tough player and he plays through a lot of injuries. And he's been an integral piece of the Oilers, since day one of him being part of this team. And he's arguably a top 5 player in this league. And when you lose a top 5 player, that leaves a massive hole in your lineup. The Oilers right now, I think they have a lot of questions around, where is that secondary scoring coming from? Because the heavy lifting is done by McDavid, the heavy lifting is done by Hyman, and the heavy lifting is done by Draisaitl. And when you lose a guy of that caliber, well, things get a little bit harder, and other guys need to step up, and that's going to be a big-time challenge because there has been quite a few guys on that roster that haven't necessarily been relied upon to score, and I do think there's times in the games where, some of the other guys go, I think Draisaitl might get this goal, or Connor's probably going to do something here. Well, you don't have the ability to do that anymore. You don't have the ability to sit back and allow your big boys to take care of business. Other guys have to step up, and they have to make sure that they can make an impact.
I like the idea of somebody like a young guy, like a Howard or Savoy, looking at this as their opportunity to launch, if you will. And I hope that does happen because I think it would be a relief for not only the guys on the team to see some depth scoring, layers to the offense, but the fan base too, because we've been talking about it a lot, and rightly so. Outside the top 6, who really scores on this team? Defensemen sometimes? Bouchard? Yeah, sure. But it would be great if Howard or a Savoy could have their moment, or even Roslovic playing on that third line to get some offense going. All right, it is Game Changers with our game analyst, Shawn Belle. Point number 1, trap game. Point number 2, life without Dry. Point number 3, January Blues, Bellsy.
January Blues for I don't know how long. Most of this season, people have talking about, okay, the Oilers usually wake up in January. I think there was stats broke down where, last season they were unbelievable. They lost 3 games. The year before, I don't think they lost any games. And people were counting on the Oilers to have that same kind of impact. in January.
Right.
Well, right now, they've got 3 wins in 7 games in January. And that's not going to be good enough, especially if you're trying to find a way to stay in the lead of the Pacific Division.
Well, they've let that slip a little bit.
They've let that slip away because Vegas is now leading it. But when you look at it, they're still in a dogfight, but they're in a dogfight with a number of other teams coming up from behind. And so if you don't start taking care of business in January like you have in the past where you've been able to, catch up and then exceed, well, then now what are you going to be looking at? You're going to be looking at, having to play basically playoff-style hockey February, March, April, and that's hard. Unless you get really hot like we've seen from the Blues, you never know where that can turn out. So they got to start to get their game in order where they can string some games, like multiple games together.
Yep.
We've talked about the lack of a 3-game winning streak.
Yep.
Well, those are things that are going to need to start happening. They got a number of games in January remaining, and so they can do it. But it's going to start tonight with this particular game. It's going to be followed up by the game against the Blues, and they have an opportunity here based on the next 3 games to get a winning streak, which will be important to kind of separate from some of the other teams.
Edmonton 3-2-2 so far in the month of January through 7 games. Like Belsey was pointing out, they have 8 games left this month. So they can still ramp it up.
Yes, they could.
Maybe get a winning streak for the first time this season. We shall see. Oh, Lieutenant Eric is here. Lovely surprise.
What's up?
Very good to see him. There he is. Hello. All right. That was Game Changers, brought to you by David Buttig Real Estate. Betty Thomson, you got anything that you want to add on top of Game Changers before we go into the game day odds check?
Yeah, just about like the January. To me, the record in January isn't as good as what they typically are, and I understand that. But to me, I look at their play and how they've played. I look back to that Islanders game that we saw on Thursday night, and all of us worked that post-game show. I think we all can agree that the Oilers deserve better. That was not a loss.
They played a good game.
They played a pretty damn good game. They ran into the best of Ilya Sorokin, and sometimes that's the way it is. There's been a couple of games in this month of January where they've lost a game where it could have been a different result. Couple unlucky bounces here and there, but
look at that jersey.
Oh boy,
that is
Look
beautiful.
at that.
That is beautiful.
Oh my God, there's Bryce. Look at this
Look
thing.
at that.
There's DVD as well. He's got his Shawn Belle Oilers alternate
beautiful.
jersey signed by this guy. That's got to be cool to see.
That is a beautiful jersey.
It is. It is definitely worth
It might be worth about $199.
He's going to be wearing it at the Shoresy Classic.
Really? Amazing.
Oh, I love it. That's good.
I
Let's
do
see
have
that
a
one more
hockey card
time.
worth $32, so that's nice.
You do?
Yeah.
That's actually a flex.
Yeah. Let's see. One more time, Bryce. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Look
nice.
at that thing.
Very, very nice.
Wow.
All right. Derek Van Diest is here. There you go. Let's get to our game day odds check. DVD, grab that one, and then get him that microphone or headset. And then our game day odds check brought to you by Play Alberta. When you play in Alberta, it stays in Alberta, safe and secure. Revenue generated from Play Alberta is redirected into Alberta's General Revenue Fund, which is used to support programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. Your money line for tonight's game, the Oilers, big favorites over the Canucks, minus 185. The Canucks at plus 155. Home dogs, as we like to say. And then the over-under set at 6.5. The over at minus 105. The under at minus 127. As we welcome it, Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. Happy birthday, big boy.
Man.
Hey, thanks. Feeling old.
Yeah.
Birthday.
Getting old. Feeling
39?
old. Huh?
39?
39, I wish.
Yeah.
In spirit and in heart. And in maturity, maybe.
Oh, okay.
So, but,
Well,
53 today.
53. All
Yeah,
right. Well,
that's,
I mean, it's a young 53.
Yeah, well, I'm on the wrong side of 50, so we're going.
Oh, that's okay. Well, you're here among friends, and we're happy to have you on your birthday. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. Great vibe already. A lot of people have turned out. And we've got the football game on, and we've got the hockey game coming up shortly. We'll start with the football. What'd you think about what happened to the Bills earlier? And then Bo Nix being out for the rest of the season. It was just announced by Sean Payton.
Really? I didn't hear that. But that's It's the Bills. What are you going to do with the Bills, right? I'm kind of interested in this game, though. Seattle, I really kind of like. I like Seattle. That's a good city. I like that town. I like that stadium. I've been there a lot. So, but yeah, Bo Nix, that's obviously a huge loss.
That is a big loss.
Yeah, it is.
All right, this Canucks team DVD. I mean, you're the Western Canadian correspondent, so they kind of fall under your jurisdiction. But they're a team that hasn't won since December 30th. They are 0-6-3 with 6 straight losses, and they've got a bunch of injuries, and they welcome in the Oilers tonight. What do you think of the Canucks?
Yeah, they're a team. You know, it's funny because I thought that trade for Quinn Hughes was a very good trade. I thought it was a really good return for him.
Yep.
Quinn Hughes wasn't going to come around. They tried to make the most of a bad situation. And I thought those kids would inject some life into that team, and I did for a little bit. I think they went on a 4-game winning streak there or something like that right after that trade. But they've come back down to earth. Their goalie's hurt again.
Yep.
They're really hurting on the back end. Now you're looking at this team. It's a team in transition, and they don't want to go full rebuild. They don't want to blow it all up and build it up again. But I think they do have to kind of bring in some younger guys and kind of give them an opportunity to play, because you're looking at this season and going, okay, there's sellers at the deadline. What do you got? What do you have? What do you get to sell? And what direction are you going with this hockey team? And I think that's something that they got to take a long, hard look at and say, okay. And you have to be honest, Belzy. Like when you're in a rebuild, you can't like lie to yourself, lie to your fan base. Like the team here did it for 10 years. Well, we all knew, hey, you guys think you're this far away and you're this far away. Mm-hmm. You really have to step back and have a look at that and realize how far away you are. Not fool yourself. Not try to pretend you're something you're not. And I think I'm seeing Vancouver starting to get to that realization right now. They're not quite there, but I think they're starting to look at it and going, okay, boys, like let's look around us here. Like Anaheim's coming, San Jose's coming, Calgary's coming. You know, Edmonton's going to be good as long as McDavid's there.
Seattle, surprisingly,
Seattle's getting better. I think Seattle's a superstar away from being a really good team. Yep. They don't have a lot of stars there. Nope. So if I'm the Canucks, I'm looking at it going, okay, how do we want to compete against this? Where are we in our cycle? And yeah, they're going to have to take a long, hard look in the mirror and figure out where they are and where they want to be and how they get to where they are.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, you look at the lineup and, you know, you've got a lot of pieces that you're sitting there saying, I'd like this piece, but what's it going to do for me later? Because after you start to sell off some of these players, like Connor Garland's going to be, is he going to be sticking around? Is he going to be moving out?
Kiefer
Sherwood, who's been pretty good for you. But like, what do you truly have left over when it's all said and done? Yeah. Marco Rossi, is he going to take this next step to being a true 2C? Well, he's wanted that, but he's been more of a 3C. So, like, where do these guys start to fit in, and what does the team look like once this fire sale's done? And then the other piece goes to, like, do you pick up a Gavin McKenna? Does he help, put you kind of back on the right trajectory? So, yeah, they've got a lot of question marks, and for me, it's almost too many question marks at like right now. It's just way too many question marks to truly know which way they're going to go.
And I think another thing in Vancouver is you get out who's running the show. Is it the GM or the president? Who's calling the shots, right? Like,
is it the owner?
It's the owner. Like, you got to figure out, like, you had that issue here. Who was calling the shots? Is it the GM? Was it the owner saying we should get this? Mm-hmm. What outside influences were there? And I think you have to figure that out. Like, one guy run the show and make the decisions. If it, and I think it's Rutherford, it's Alvin, it's the owner. Who is it going to be that's going to rebuild this team? Yep. And you can't have too many cooks in the kitchen. You can't have other guys I'm going to work on this trade, you work on this. There's got to be one guy to say, this is the direction we have. And I do think that Patrick Alvin is a very bright guy, very smart guy. But I wonder if he's in a situation maybe where Steve Tambellini was a few years ago, where you gotta request every trade's got to go through upper management, and you can't. And you're always going to get in trouble where you have to go to another level to make a trade and to build your team. So I think that's an issue they got to settle right there as well. Is who's going to be calling the shots if you're going to rebuild this team? Who's going to do it? And like I said, sometimes it's hard to step away from that, but I think sometimes in Vancouver, and I saw it here at Edmonton, sometimes you don't see the forest for the trees, right? You got to step away. Yep. You got to have a look at it from a different perspective. And maybe you have to have someone be honest with you and say, hey, this is what you got to do. This is the way you got to go. And I think that's where the Canucks are in that situation right now.
They're definitely in a jam. Okay, so tonight they've got 7 guys there that would be regulars that are out due to injury for the Vancouver Canucks. A bunch of young guys, AHL guys in the lineup. They do have some veterans still playing tonight. If you're Adam Foote and you're telling your guys, okay, you get the Oilers without Draisaitl for the next little bit here, what do you think the message is from Adam Foote? What do you think he wants to see from his group to get a win and this losing streak?
Well, I think they got to play well defensively. Just start there and work hard. And I think that kind of, when you don't have that upper skill, you got to be a team that, you got to be kind of a reflective of your coach. Adam Foote was a hard-working guy. He never took a shift off.
Right.
And I think that's what he's going to expect out of his team. And that's what you're trying to ingrain into that group that, hey, we're going to be a hard team to play. We may not be the most skilled team. We may not be the fanciest team, but we got to go, get our noses dirty. That's why I think Connor Garland is a perfect fit for that team. I really like him as a player. He's that type of guy that he's going to get his nose dirty. He's going to go in there and do the things that you need to do to win hockey games.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you're the Canucks, you got to drag this team through the mud. And
I like that.
Scrum it up every single whistle, trying to get inside the heads of the Oilers, because if you consistently do that shift after shift, it becomes annoying, and maybe it changes the momentum. Maybe it all of a sudden tells a guy like, hey, does Nuge really want to do that today? I don't know.
I think he would.
I think he would.
Yeah.
But there's other guys where I question, is that the type of game that they want to play? And we've seen over the course of multiple years now, when teams play that way, the others aren't necessarily like jumping to play with that style as well. So that is a style that's successful against the Oilers. Florida plays it very well. It gives the Oilers fits. Vancouver, if you did go back to the series that they had, they played that well and it gave the Oilers fits. And I think you got to drag this team through the mud, because they don't have the same horses that they used to as well that can handle that.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Derek Van Diest from NHL.com joining us as we get you set for the Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks down at Rogers Arena. And DVD also from an Oilers. I mean, looking at the Oilers' point of view, looking at the Canucks' point of view, Edmonton without Leon Draisaitl, how do you think the Canucks try to attack that while staying in the game, like you're saying, playing sound defensively? That makes it easier not having Draisaitl to deal with, does it not? Yeah,
you can kind of, I don't want to say put all your eggs in one basket per se, but now you have to focus on the McDavid line and stay off the penalty kill. And I think you can handle, like, if McDavid's going to get his points, he's going to get his opportunities.
Sure.
But now you don't have to. It's not a double-headed dragon here. Like, it's one guy. We can focus our resources on one guy. We can play our top defensive pairing against him. We can play our top checking line against him. And like I said, as long as you stay off the penalty kill, you might have some success. And I think that's the way it goes. It's always pick your poison with the Oilers. You want McDavid or Draisaitl? And the beauty of it is that they're both different types of offensive players. Draisaitl likes to carry the puck. He likes to have guys on his back. He holds players off. McDavid will come at you with a ton of speed. So it's really tough to kind of match up, because when they're both two different guys. So without Draisaitl in the lineup, you really can focus your top pairing. You're going to play the McDavid line every night. Be prepared to play 25 to 30 minutes tonight, because those guys, he's going to be on the ice an awful lot now that without Draisaitl on the ice. So, it's going to be interesting to see. But I expect McDavid to play a ton of minutes tonight. I may expect him to maybe center more than one line. Like, it's one of those, like, he'll be on the first line and third line type of thing. Like, I think, especially if things aren't going well early, they're going to play him a ton.
Good luck, Marcus Pettersson. Good luck, Philip Hronek, tonight. All right, DVD, it's your birthday. It's going to be a good time here at BP's 170th. What's one thing or point of wisdom you would pass along to the younger generation that you've learned in your 53 years? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Point of wisdom, just try to enjoy every day. You know, just go out and have fun. And just that's all I'd say. Just go out there and try and make the most of every day. Because suddenly you realize, I don't have a lot of years. I don't have my youth. You know, what is that saying? The youth is wasted on the young. It's absolutely true. It's, just go out there, enjoy it, and, just have try and make the most of every day.
No grace.
I know.
He's got no grace, so he must be doing something right.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, thank you for doing this. Appreciate it
guys.
as always. Happy birthday. Let's have some fun. We'll have some beverages later, okay?
Sounds good. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
All right, there's Derek Van Diest from NHL.com giving us a little bit of a look-see at the Vancouver Canucks, who are without 7 regulars tonight and are hurting bad, having dropped 9 straight games, 6 of those straight-up losses, 3 in overtime, and the extra frame. So, yeah, good stuff there from Derek Van Diest. Benny Thomson, you doing all right?
Yeah.
You good? You want to jump in?
I appreciated the wisdom from
There you go.
DVD. Yeah, he was talking to my generation there.
Just talking
I
to you
think he was talking to a few people here.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm only 25.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Whatever. All right. Tom Gazzola, Shawn, Belle with you live on location, Boston Pizza 170th. It's going to be a great time if you're looking for a place to watch with some friends. The Nasties are here. Dusty's going to be coming down. Hopefully Hernan's going to bring Evan Dom and EJ from the Elks.
Oh, man.
Dom are now with Sport Edmonton. Yeah. Could be having a really good crew here. Turning Point Tara, who was very popular the last time she was here. People were
Why
looking
was
at
she
her.
so popular, Tom?
Because she's an attractive woman
Oh.
that was smiling and cheesing for the camera.
Oh.
What else?
I actually
Very
have no idea.
intelligent.
This is a very genuine question because I wasn't here last time.
Oh, you don't remember that?
Nor did I watch the
People
show.
were loving it.
Okay.
Loving it. She is here. I believe she's yelling right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. It's going to be a vibe. It's going to be a vibe, as they say. Okay, let's go to a few texts here before we go inside the Oilers locker room and hear from Chris Knobloch. Let's go to Adam from Lloyd, texting in 780-218-9999. Says, hey boys, looking forward to a good old-fashioned Canucks stomping tonight in Vancouver. I want to ask you guys to give a big shout out to all my Atco lineman brothers and the contractors working to get all the power restored in the Bonnyville area the past couple of days and through the weekend. They've been busting their ass the past couple of days, doing their best to get the power restored to all the customers. Big kudos to those guys and gals working to get the lights back on. Cheers to a big Oilers win tonight. And from us here at EST, shout out to the crew from Atco getting the work done. Hopefully they've got the power restored in the Bonnyville area. RBM says, guys, I just tuned in and you're still on this blind rankings thing. Yes.
Yeah, it's just so greasy.
It was so greasy.
They're so mad. So mad that they lost.
Did us dirty. You did us real dirty.
I'm not even mad about the loss. I'm just disappointed in you.
Yeah, really disappointed, to be honest.
Don't care.
Okay. Yeah, no, we know. No, we get it. We got that loud and clear. We got that.
Oh, that's great stuff right there.
Let's go inside the Oilers locker room. Let's hear from head coach Chris Knobloch.
Chris, let's start. There's the hockey side and then there's the human side, and one of your best players is dealing with that right now. Just a thought on, just the absence that's in the short term with Leon leaving and going back to Germany.
Obviously, we're going to miss Leon, and hopefully it's not very long. And obviously, we support Leon and what's going on right now. Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, but yeah, it is what it is.
There is an opportunity for some other guys that have been chomping at the bit to get some more minutes here and play in different scenarios. You got to put Colson up with Connor McDavid and RNH at center. Quick thought on those two moves.
Yeah, we had to obviously rearrange our lines a little bit just with Leon and the role that he plays, and opportunity for Podkolzin moving up with Connor, but also Frederick, who will play on the left side with Nuge, and Nuge will. Obviously that line's been really good. We didn't want to split it up, but we need a centerman, and Nuge is obviously the obvious choice.
Well, Coffee be happy today. You got 2 power play units with 2 sets of D. Jake Wallman on the flank replacing Leon. A quick thought on that.
Yeah, we just felt, a lot of guys could have done that. One thing we wanted was a left-handed shot on that first unit. And Jake, obviously being a very good power play guy, most of his time spent up top, but feel that with his shot that he can be a threat on his offside.
Expecting an urgent Canucks squad on the other side after dropping 9th Street?
Absolutely. I think it's very similar to when we went into Winnipeg, and you see a team that's on a cold streak, and not necessarily because of playing that poorly, just you can see with the NHL the way it is, and there's teams that are very streaky and going on hot winning streaks, losing streaks, and watching the pre-scout, watching Vancouver play, and just a lot of circumstance of just things not going your way right now. And, I don't think they're playing poorly or anything like that. It's just, so coming back home after a long road trip, obviously they're going to be a very hungry, desperate team that we have to be ready for.
Connor was saying that this has always been a tough building to play in. How have you seen this matchup evolve between the Oilers and the Canucks over the past few years?
Well, I think obviously the 7-game series in the playoffs has a lot to do with that. But even in the regular season, I know there was some pretty lopsided wins from the Vancouver side of it. And, for the most part, throughout the whole season, there was a chase for first place in the division, and Vancouver won that, obviously, and then they ended up being a fabulous series, depending on who's taking it. Obviously, we were on the winning side of that, but, I think anytime you have those rivalries, strong playoff matchups, that it builds into a bit of a rivalry.
It's a pretty big weekend for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Game 99 tonight in his hometown. Tomorrow, 1,000 as his head coach and as teammates. How do you approach this weekend for 90?
Try to enjoy it. What an accomplishment to play 1,000 games with one organization. Anytime a player hits 1,000 mark, it's an accomplishment as itself. But to do it with one organization, and you see, Ryan's progression of, for him to be able to stick it out. I know a lot of high drafted players were traded to try and change their fortunes around, and he was the one who stayed around through it all. And a lot of players, all the players, staff included, have a lot of respect for Ryan, what he does, and I think it's a weekend that we're all going to enjoy.
All right, that was Chris Knobloch talking prior to tonight's game. The Oilers and the Canucks meeting for the third of 4 meetings so far this season. They'll play again at Edmonton April 16th. Nuge playing game 999 at home, and then returns to Edmonton to play at his home away from home in game number 1,000.
That 1,000 is going to be a pretty special night.
Yeah. First time in Oilers history that ever happened. It's going to
be a really, really special night. He's been through it all. He's weathered it all. So it's going to be really cool to see. I'm actually looking forward to it because I think it'll be a really special show.
Of course, Kevin Lowe, the only other Oiler to play over 1,000 games in orange and blue, but he did have a stint with the Rangers for a few years before returning to Edmonton and closing out his career. Nugent-Hopkins, of course, from post to post so far in orange and blue, and likely, I hope to see. He could be the first guy to just play like a long, extended career. Cover to cover, however you want to describe it.
I was listening to Knobloch's interview, and obviously very diplomatic answer. It's the right answer. He's hit the nail on the head where he's like, they need to make sure that they're ready. Mm-hmm. They've gone through injuries, and they've been playing better, blah blah blah. Don't you just wish some days coach would be like, yeah, the team's crappy?
I do wish. I do enjoy
I wish that happened, but it is a very diplomatic answer, and it's a very right answer with what he was saying. But at the same time, I just want him to be like, yeah, we shouldn't lose this game if we decide to play. Because they're not the same level as us. So if we play well, we shouldn't have an issue.
I like when coaches are like that. Don't see it that often.
Put a little bit more onus on the players to make sure they're ready.
Yes, I like that. We are live on location, Boston Pizza 170th. A lot of listeners and nasties are here. San and Jasmine are here. Tanis is here. El Presidente, Tracy from the Combine crew, and Norman a Combine are here. Tamara, the Wig Lady, and Barry are here. There's Corey B. Garen is here. I heard the Combine crew went to that lacrosse game last night.
Oh, did they?
Got into one.
Oh,
they had fun.
Yeah, so they might be in rough shape today. Yeah. They might
Love
be
it.
in rough shape today. All right, your lineup for today from an Oilers point of view. McDavid between Podkolzin and Hyman. Nugent-Hopkins with Frederick and Kapanen. Roslovic between Howard and Savoy. Lazar with Mangiapane and Janmark on his flanks. On defense, Ekholm with Bouchard. Nurse with Emberson. Wallman with Stasny. Tristan Jarry gets the start in goal for the Canucks tonight. Pettersson with Ogren and Besser. David Kampf between Evander Kane and Jake DeBrusk. Atu Ratu between Drew O'Connor and Connor Garland. Max Sassid with Arshdeep Baines and Linus Carlson. On defense, Marcus Pettersson with Philip Hronik. Zeev Byam with Tyler Myers, or Buyam, I should say. And then Tom Willander with Victor Mancini. In goal for Vancouver, 25-year-old Nikita Tolopilo, who is 2-2-0 this season, 350 goals against average, 894 save percentage in his 5 games. And this will be the first time he ever faces the Edmonton Oilers. Tristan Jarry, lots of success against Vancouver in his career, 5-1-1, 265 goals against average, 911 save percentage in 7 games against the Canucks. There was a thing in the nasty chat that you pointed out that you and I both chuckled at and we would like to give some love to.
Oh, yeah. Let me
from
find
Nick
it.
in the North.
Nick in the North basically said more like Benny's blindside ranking.
Yeah.
Sure.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Sure.
Look at you. You know it's true. That's for Nick in the North.
He's just got his back up right now because he knows.
Yeah, because we're calling him out for his ratitude.
Nope.
Yeah, that actually is great. You've got ratitude.
You like
Gratitude.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a minute left. Benny, final thoughts, then we'll go to Belzy, and then we'll wrap.
Take advantage of a weak team in Vancouver. They're missing guys. I understand you're missing Draisaitl if you're the Oilers, but they're winless at 9. Take advantage. They're the worst team in the West right now. Show up to play, get off to a good start, and if you do that, I like a chance at winning.
Belzy.
Make sure you show up, just like Benny said. And I want to see somebody step up in Draisaitl's absence. Make sure they're playing hard, lines 1 through 4. I'd like to see them roll their lines and everybody
lovely.
get a little bit of love and some touches, but I definitely need to see somebody step up in Draisaitl's absence.
They are the clear-cut worst team in the National Hockey League by 6 points. Just go and stomp on them. Do not give them any life whatsoever. For the love of God, get the win, go home, do it efficiently, and get ready for Nugent-Hopkins' 1,000th game against the Blues tomorrow.
Yeah.
Simple. Big thank you to Derek Van Diest, the birthday boy from NHL.com, Western Canadian correspondent, stopping by, giving us the scoop on the Vancouver Canucks. It's going to be a great time here at BP 170th. Tony and Curtis put on a good party. We've got a lot of nasties here ready to rock and roll. It's going to be a ton of fun. And if you don't have anything to do or you want to watch with us, please come on down 170th and 90th Avenue, right across the street from West Edmonton Mall. It's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. For Benny Thomson and Shawn Belle, I am Tom Gazzola saying enjoy the Canucks and Oilers. We'll see you on the postgame show.